Hasu is not really taking advantage of that right now. He is just massing ground units. Actually, if he gets enough sentries down here on the ground too, that can be very, very helpful against these bio blobs that Strelok is constructing here. 164 food for Strelok, 145 for Hasu, so he is falling a little bit behind. He can afford another gateway or two. He's dropping a Twilight Council, another Twilight Council. Interesting. Maybe he forgot about the first one that he had? You had DTs like 5 minutes into the game, Hasu. How did you totally forget about that? That's pretty interesting. I think he reactionarily built another Twilight Council so he could get ground weapons level 2 and just forgot that he had one already for that Dark Shrine that he had very early into the game. Pretty interesting mistake there. Probably won't cost him too much, but you know, never need to build a second of a tech building like that. Anyway, enough harping on that slight mistake there. We see that actually kind of often. We'll see players get tech buildings ×2 just because they forgot, but destructible rocks being broken down there now. Hasu moving in now. All these Vikings here were in a decent position to try and take out a Colossus, but Strelok wasn't paying enough attention. He's forced to retreat a little bit there. Hasu gains a little bit of ground, but Strelok production, look at that, 190 food against only 157. That's a huge difference here. These cannons at this Nexus here aren't going to matter that much against a giant stemmed ball of Marines and Marauders. With +1/+1, and these tanks here don't have any upgrades yet, but they are on the way. Siege tanks and a planetary fortress right here going to be incredibly hard to break. He's going to have to use these colossi to stand at range to hit the planetary fortress and use all these ground units as support. I like this cannon here at the Xel'Naga Tower, and probably over at the other one. Yeah, he's getting a pylon there too. He's adding on gateways now, finally, which is great, because off of these 3 bases, he should be able to support that. He's at 67 harvesters, probably going to want to slow down at around 70 or 75, just so you can make enough room for your army. Finally starting to warp in. He's going to be maxed here pretty quick with that number of gateways, and Strelok's maxed army is on the move. Going to be able to take out a pylon here and that probe. Starting to move here on this Nexus. He dropped a scan. He's only going to see some High Templar here. Hasu actually tries to respond here while Strelok is over on the left side of the map, but Strelok just moves over there so quickly. He's still maxed. Excellent storms going down there. Oh, wow. Storms and force fields not allowing these Marines and Marauders to go anywhere. These tanks were actually blocking the line as well. Looks like Hasu is going to retreat, though. This Viking count is just a little bit too high, killing off those Colossi. And Strelok dips down to only 138 supply food. Hasu also at 138. So that was a pretty good battle of attrition there. Strelok rebuilding very, very quickly already. If we look at the production tab, look at all these units he's got building. He's got another command center building down here at the bottom of the map as well. So he's going to try to expand again. Another Nexus is building for Hasu in the same third base location. So both of these players staying on top of their macro while they try to micro through these battles. All these siege tanks just blasting away at the ground support for the Colossi, and all these Vikings just shooting Colossi. Looks really bad for Hasu. He's going to be losing in this exchange if he keeps trying to attack this planetary fortress with all of the siege support. He's going to have to do something a little bit sneakier, maybe a warp prism with some storm drops. I don't know. Don't see that very often, but look at this, just huge saturation of SCVs right now. One little storm drop from a warp prism could kill all these workers and set him so far behind. Hasu, his money's starting to pile up again, but he does have just a ton of gateways that he could be using. All of those are on cooldown. These still have a couple of buildings available. Hasu just moving around the map now, warping in stalkers. I'm not sure. Maybe DTs would actually be a good idea again if he could get rid of this Raven very quickly. DTs would actually be pretty good there. He would force these orbital commands to drop some scans, although they do have a lot of energy, so I guess that's not really too pertinent. Hasu is trying to drop pylons all over the map here down in the bottom right. He is actually warping in some Templar here for some storm warp-ins rather than storm drops, and yes, he does actually kill off a ton of SCVs right there. One more storm would be great. He warps in some Zealots here to help the Templar do their damage. One more storm right there would kill so many SCVs. Zealots hacking away these supply depots, going to be able to kill those off pretty quickly. This poor Templar right here could get some juicy kills, but he just doesn't know about it. And this one right here, going to be taken out. He does drop a storm, does some damage and kills off a Marauder, it looks like. But this one going to be... actually, he did drop a storm as well, but I'm not sure what he killed there. Oh, he looks like he did get some kills up here at the natural with a nice storm before being killed off. So one Zealot versus one tank, not going to work out too great for this Zealot. The other Zealot just stands there and watches. More High Templar being warped in here. I like this. Trying to keep an eye on this mini-map over here too, just to make sure they don't engage without me knowing about it. Good Storm right there. Kills a lot of workers. Strelok... Actually, I just love that Hasu is doing this because it's exactly what I suggested a moment ago. Makes me look smart. And now 3 Stargates being built here too, so if he starts building Phoenixes, oh man, I'll just feel so good about myself and knowledge of this matchup. But 2-1 upgrades here for these ground units of Strelok. He's got lots of Vikings still in the air. Hasu with just a ton of ground forces. Looks like he slowed down on Colossi production quite a bit. Now getting Immortals and Stargates. Going to be cranking out some units here. Another little altercation here. I don't like this though. I'm not sure who's going to come out the victor. Looks like Hasu is actually going to win this round, and more SCVs being killed off. Switch to production tab, or not production, income. Oh no, big battle going on. Oh man, I missed it. I missed the engagement, I'm sorry. But Hasu looks like he is going to be reeling from this. All these stimmable Marines and Marauders with all these upgrades. Going to tear right through the ground forces. Storms and Colossi going to have to do a good job of holding these guys back here. Cannons go down extremely quickly, of course. Lots of Templar here. I'm not sure how much Storm juice they have. That one wasn't too effective, but he's got Strelok running away back to his planetary fortress, so that's good for him. There goes a nice feedback on some Ghosts, so they're not going to be able to do any EMPs for the time being. There are a couple of shieldless Stalkers here, but looks like Strelok still getting the favorable momentum here, pushing Hasu back to his nexus here at the high yield. All kinds of stuff going on now. We've got Templar back in the back here, still at this third base. We have an observer here just watching all these mules. Look at all these mules just cranking away on those minerals. Oh man, so Strelok at 118 supply against Hasu 137. So Hasu killing all those workers off. Let's look at that count again. 73 against 58. He's now got his Templar back again. We'll watch this number drop in real time. Lots of mules being killed off there. If he's got one more Storm in him, oh, all these SCVs are going to die. Holy crap, that was good. I'm waiting for the Harvester count to update. Oh, 42 Harvesters, man. 16 SCVs being killed right there. That's pretty intense stuff. One Zealot trying to hack away at this refinery. There's no ground units of Strelok here to stop this. More Zealots coming in. The planetary fortress cannot hit this Zealot, so that refinery does go down. Zealots just run right past the planetary fortress, start tanking out turrets and things like that. Switching back to production because I'm curious what he's building out of the Stargates. It is going to be Void Rays at first. Planetary Fortress and Siege Tank here. These Zealots aren't going to be able to really do anything except distract. If you can get this refinery burning, though, that'd be quite nice. Siege Tanks are blasting the refinery, trying to kill the Zealots, so another gas goes down. Interesting stuff here. All this worker harass is what Protoss needs to do against a turtling Terran like this with Siege Tanks and Planetary Fortresses. It's just very, very hard to break. So when you've got great harassment like this, income tab, 36 Harvesters against 75, with all the production buildings that Hasu has, he's got to be able to take advantage of that and have a bigger army here soon. 3-1 upgrades here for the ground units against 2-1 for Strelok's ground units, and only 1-0 for the Siege Tanks. Don't believe the air units. Actually, I don't even see any Vikings there. Look at unit tab real quick and see what's going on there. No Vikings in the air at all. We do have 6 Void Rays for Hasu flying around. He's just rallying them up into the very top right corner, so Strelok can't see them without a scan. He's running Zealots all over the base here. Strelok just desperately trying to build what he can. More Vikings are coming out now. Siege Tanks, Marines, Marauders. He's still cranking out units as fast as he can, but he's just so far behind because he doesn't have the money to spend. He's mineral capped. And Hasu just has over 1,500 minerals to spend, so he's able to just crank out Zealots here on cooldown, keep making Templar to harass these mineral lines, and 27 Harvesters now for Strelok at this point in the game is pretty disgusting. It's pretty much a do-or-die attack for him at this point, so he's going to start to move into the high yield, which is empty here. All these Harvesters doing absolutely nothing. Keep the production tab up while this is going on. Strelok stems up with all these Marines and Marauders. He has quite a lot of medevacs here to support this. This Nexus is likely going to go down, but Hasu is just gathering all of his forces here in the back near his natural. Going to get these Void Rays on the move. I'm not sure if they have any upgrades. No, they have 0-0 still. But they do have Prismatic Beam. I like that little icon there down on the bottom right. Strelok starting to move into the third base here. I call it the third, the second natural, whatever you want to call it is fine, but that's this base right here. These 2 pylons and cannons are going to be blasted down by Siege Tanks. Now we see a big engagement. All these Void Rays here, 10 Void Rays here, going to be just demolishing all the Marauders and Siege Tanks here. storms go down. Strelok losing tons and tons of units very, very rapidly, with nothing left but tanks really to fight against 10 Void Rays. I have to believe Hasu is going to take this pretty quickly. He's still warping units in the back of the game, back of the natural here, and Demuslim and Dabu and Nin apparently were watching this game. But anyway, great play from Hasu. It looked like he was reeling at the beginning to mid-game. He did not have the income to really keep up. He didn't have the production structures. He lost 5 probes to that Banshee. DTs were just super, super ineffective. He made a second Twilight Council for no reason, but switching tech here, staying on top of his tech switches. He knew Colossus was not going to be enough, so he got Psystorm out. He got some anti-air, some nice air units here with these Vikings. Once the Vikings stopped being built, the Void Rays were just free to demolish everything. So really good Protoss play out of Hasu. Strelok didn't do too bad either. It's just he could not really defend very well against all of these storm drops and constant DTs attacking all of his workers throughout the game. And seeing these Void Rays, I'm sure, just made his heart sink because he couldn't actually do anything about it. His micro could have been a little bit better for some of those storm encounters as well, but still a very fun game to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll be back to casting games regularly now that I'm all moved in and have all my setup good to go. So stick around and I'll cast some more games. Like I said, I do have another announcement here coming probably today or tomorrow, dealing with something not StarCraft 2 related, but I think a lot of you guys will still like it. So keep your eyes open for that as well, and I'll see you later.